Welcome everyone. I'm going to build a web application which displays live data from financial instruments using Elixir, Phoenix, and WebSockets. The objective of this workshop is to get you fellows hooked onto Elixir and Phoenix. That's what I want from you. You might be using your own MVCs, your frameworks of choice, Express, Node, Django. I want to get you hooked onto Elixir Phoenix. Elixir comes from a background of Ruby. A lot of the Ruby developers dissatisfied with the state of affairs created Elixir. So Elixir has its roots from Ruby and also from Ruby on Rails. So I have a plan chalked out. So what we're going to do is we'll start with, I remember the goal is not, this is not an introduction to Elixir, Phoenix, or WebSockets. This is a hands-on workshop, so we're going to definitely code everything. But at the same time, I'm going to just give a short introduction to each of these technologies. So we're going to talk about Elixir. We're going to talk about what Phoenix is. The front end is going to be in Vue.js. Then we'll set up a Phoenix backend, which will connect to the Binance. Binance gives you a WebSockets API to give you the live cryptocurrency stock ticker data. We're going to connect to that API, which is free and available, but they have their rate limits. So we're going to use that to get the data from Binance, and then we're going to display that on our front end. So, and I'll talk about what WebSockets are also. Once we have that, I want to load test my web server application. So I'm going to create, we will create our own WebSocket server using Riverside, which is an Elixir module. And if time permits, I will then take it live on GCP. I will host my Phoenix application on my compute instance, which is also hosting the Discord timebot, by the way. So, and then I'm going to invite each of you to connect to that instance, and let's see how many of you can open your browser sessions. And I challenge you, I'm going to crash your Firefox, but my Phoenix backend will not crash. Let's see what happens. Okay, so let's see if time permits. We'll host it live. We'll take it live. Cool. So I'll start by sharing my screen. I've not prepared any slides. I thought I'll just go the way of how would you normally go about learning a new language, or at least attempting to discover or get a brief glimpse. So what is Elixir? Elixir is a dynamic functional language. So it's dynamic. It's not compiled. It supports dynamic types. It's not statically typed language. It's functional. It's a Lisp. And the best thing about Elixir, it leverages the Erlang VM. It's low latency, which Erlang VM is awesome. It's low latency, distributed, and fault tolerant. So Elixir is, standing on the shoulders of giants and building an awesome, the Erlang VM. And a well-known thing about Erlang and Elixir is it supports live hot reloading of code which is deployed. I have deployed, I'll not be able to show it in this workshop, but if, I would love to do another workshop and demonstrate hot reloading of live production code. If I detect a function has a bug in my production code, I can actually go inside the code using mix. I can change the function and I can do recompile, and my entire production system will be upgraded by just a simple recompile of the particular module. And just as a trivia, if you've heard of the Apollo mission, I think there was one of the missions, not sure, if you go Google, you'll find where they actually, they had a Lisp running on their computers. This is way back, and they found a bug. It was, I think, in a mission to the moon or something, and they actually fixed the bug because they were able to update the code in a live running system. And that is what Elixir can do for you. That's one of the advantages of Elixir. It's certainly not an awesome feature to have, but it's definitely something which you should be aware of. Now, installing Elixir is easy. I'm just going to go to the page, and I hope you do it. I hope you have already done it, or you can do it now. Since I'm running on Linux, I just need to add the Erlang repositories and install Elixir, which I already have installed. So if I go to my terminal, I have Elixir version. This is the latest version, version 1.1.10.4. Elixir supports a REPL, interactive Elixir IEX, similar to many languages. And the IEX REPL is super awesome. I spend most of my time here. I don't even go to Google, believe me. There's a search. I think there's a search feature, but there's an awesome help feature. You can type H and learn about enums. You can type H enum dot tab completion, and you can see enum as various functions built into the enum module. There's enum.map. I can type H enum.map and get help for enum.map along with examples. So I can run this, and what this function is, what enum.map is doing, it's taking a list of integers and multiplying it by 2. So that's what you can do in the REPL. You can even define functions inside your REPL. Let's quickly go to Phoenix. So what is Phoenix? Phoenix is a web framework so it's what's happening? Okay. Oh, they've changed the website, I think. So that's what I said earlier. So they have all this. They're coming from the Ruby on Rails background. So they're making it very easy to develop web applications by creating DSLs, your domain-specific languages. Phoenix supports Ecto, which is an awesome ORM to connect to your database, and it supports DSL. So you don't need to write SQL, and it's very intuitive to write SQL queries in a DSL. And of course, you can also write raw SQL if you like. So Phoenix is a framework for modern web applications on Elixir. Let's quickly get to installing Phoenix. How do you install Phoenix? Is this? It went to a advertisement. I'm so sorry about that. It went to a not the actual Phoenix page. So now we are on the actual Phoenix page. So installation is simple. If I go to docs, where is installation? Where is installation? Guides. Installation. So I need to have Elixir, obviously. I need to have Hex. Hex is the package manager for Elixir. So this command will install X. I already have it on my system, so I'm not going to run it. To install Phoenix, you make sure you have Elixir, make sure you have Hex, and then you do mix archive.install the latest version of Phoenix, which is 1.5.4, and this will install Phoenix. The awesome thing about Phoenix is it creates both. When you start your Phoenix server, it will create a Phoenix server, and it will also create a front end using Webpack. So you'll have both of these services running, and that is why you need Node installed. If you need a database, you need PostgreSQL, and this is iNotify tools is so that Phoenix can detect code changes and dynamically update your code, and also refresh your browser. The moment you change your code, the browser will be refreshed automatically, both for Phoenix code as well as for your front-end Vue code. So even if you change your backend code, your browser will be reloaded. I'm not entirely sure about that, but we can check it out. So that's what's a requirement. In this particular workshop, I'm only going to deploy a microservice. So it's only an API-based Phoenix application. So because I want to focus on WebSockets, maybe I'll do another workshop on Phoenix, which I'll demonstrate the entire facilities which the framework provides, like controllers, templates for views, error handling, authentication, session management, alerts. So Phoenix gives you all of that. You can create migrations. You can create database migrations using Ecto. Once you create a migration, it automatically creates REST APIs for your particular resource. So if you have a resource user, you can create a migration for user, and Phoenix will generate templates for user creation, user listing, user editing, blah, blah. So it's very easy to get started. And that's all in plain HTML. There's no JavaScript. It's all HTML and server-side rendering. So let me start. Let me create a new Phoenix application using Mix. Mix is the Elixir build tool, right? So I can do Mix new project, and I'm naming my project WebSocket server, and the client is going to be a Vue.js app, which I will create using the Vue CLI service, which will be WSC. So let's create my Mix new Phoenix application. So it will be Mix new. I believe it's man, I forgot. So I'll do a Mix help new, Mix new. I think it's let me go back to the documentation. Up and running. Okay, so let me check. Okay, Mix phx.new. Mix is extremely extensible. You can add your own commands to Mix. So these are the defaults which Mix some, which because I've installed Phoenix, that is why I have a Mix phx.new. If I had not installed Phoenix, Mix wouldn't have this Mix wouldn't have this command. So you can, Elixir allows you to add new commands to the Mix build tool. So I'm going to Mix phx.new and my project name. Now, since I mentioned I'm only going to create an API service, I'm going to pass in a bunch of arguments. I don't want a database. I don't want a Webpack. And I don't want any HTML templates. This is a simple API service and also a WebSocket service. And I believe the module created will have, so I'll probably do this just to make sure my module is in all caps. I believe there's an option for this. Okay, I think, let me try. So I'm going to create an application WSS with module WSS. Let me see if this works. Yes. I'll say yes to fetch and install dependencies. This is the Hex package manager at work. It's fetching my dependencies from hex.pm. Hex.pm is where all the Elixir modules are stored. Similar to npm, I think. What is it, npm.js? No. It's also compiling the dependencies. So it's going to store the dependencies in depth. So it's similar to similar to a node project. It stores the dependencies in your working directory. So each Phoenix application will have its own set of dependencies. Why is it taking time? Oh, my Zoom. Zoom is eating up my CPU. This is crazy. Oh man, I think I'll take back that. I think definitely my WebSocket server is going to crash.
I must say, once I got an eGPU for my laptop, my laptop suddenly stopped sounding like it was taking off.
Yeah, I'm planning to get a eGPU. Yep, definitely. I'm planning to get actually a docking. We have these docking video. So I want to connect. I just have one monitor connected to my laptop, and I want to connect another. I think there's a video docking also. I'm looking into that. But I think an eGPU is definitely something I'm looking at.
Yeah,
all right. So,
nice.
Yeah, cool. So what does it tell me? I'm done. So I can go to my directory and I can start the Phoenix server with Mix. But I can also start IEX, which is if I just do IEX, I've started a Elixir REPL, but this is a generic Elixir REPL. I mean, I can do anything which I do in Elixir over here, but if I do IEX -s Mix, I'm actually going to enter my project, which is WSS. So you can see WSS is available. I can see I have all my functions, right? So I've entered my application. And if I do Mix, this will also start my Phoenix server. So I have my Phoenix server listening on port 4000. Yeah. And Elixir is fast. Believe me, it's pretty fast. I'm not going to compare it with other languages, but it's fast. Let me try localhost 4000. Right? I have not defined any routes, but Phoenix gives you a live dashboard out of the box. So you can do dashboard. So this is another good thing about Phoenix. It gives you Erlang specific information, application specific information about your running application, your Elixir version, your uptime, total input output, your queues, your memory for your application. You can see I'm just consuming 38 MB. Atoms are unique keys in Elixir. Ports are something which I'm not sure, but it's something to do with application PIDs, I believe, and the amount of processes running. You can have metrics. You can see your request logger, the applications, the processes, the ports, and Erlang term storage. ETS is a very handy cache to use in Elixir if you want to cache things. So this is what, and so what I'll do is I'll quickly create an API endpoint to get the version of my application. Let's call my version 0.1.0. So I'm going to create a route /API/version. Not found, which is perfect. And now this should give me return back JSON because I'm creating a REST API. It should return JSON with the version information of my application. I'm going to open Emacs because that is my editor of choice. I think I will already have it open. Not sure. Sorry. No, I don't have it open. Okay, so I'm gonna go to apps. Let's open mix.exs. Let me explain what. So I've opened my editor. I'll increase the font. Oops. I think this font size should do. All right. Mix.exs is where you configure. Sorry, you don't configure. Mix.exs is where you define your project. So you can see my app name. My version is 0.1.0 requirements of Elixir. And main thing is you can specify your dependencies. So right now, my dependency of my Elixir is Phoenix. Phoenix also provides telemetry, provides JSON support out of the box. I'm going to add some modules which I know I require. So I'm going to attempt to write code, but since it's going to get huge, I'm also going to copy and paste a lot of code. That's the sign of a great programmer, copy and paste. So I'm going to do that but I'll try to explain all of the code. So I need some dependencies, which I'm aware of already. So I'm going to copy paste that. Let me explain. WebSockets is your WebSocket client. Is an Elixir WebSocket client. Riverside is an Elixir WebSocket server. We're going to implement our own WebSocket server. Timex is just a handy module to deal with date times, and CORS plug because I will be doing, as I said, I will be hosting this on GCP, and I would like you fellows to access it. And since your browser will then connect to my WebSocket server on a different port, my Phoenix application is going to be on 4000. My WebSocket server is going to be on port 3000. So you will need CORS. My Phoenix server will need to send the CORS header. So this module will give me the CORS header. So I've just added dependencies. I'm going to save this. Go back to my terminal, and I've already got an error. Oh yeah, sorry, API version is not defined. I just need to do mix do deps.get because I've added new dependencies and compile. So get the new dependencies and compile. At the same time, we are going to separate our solution into two applications, a Phoenix API and a WebSocket server and a front end, which will be a separate application written in Vue. So we can start since this guy is taking time. Oh man, yes. So what are the requirements for Vue? You need to have Node installed. I have Node, I have NPM, and you need to install Vue CLI service, which I already have installed. So make sure you install Vue CLI service, which is this command Vue. I'm not sure what version I'm running. It has, oh, it's Vue CLI version 4, but Vue is currently on version 2, and Vue version 3 also has been released, I believe. There's a lot of awesome changes. So I'm going to create a new project. So I'm going to say Vue create WSC, right? So it's a simple naming convention. I hope this guy has, ouch. Oh, I'm going to ignore these errors. Let me create my Vue.js application. I'm going to keep this also simple. I'm going to accept the defaults. Babel ESLint. Oh, why did I choose ESLint? I hate ESLint. Okay, anyway. So this will also do an npm install. It will fetch all the packages and store it in node modules. Yeah, I know. Actually, they are warnings, you know, Karthik. So I'm going to ignore the warnings, man. I mean, I don't know why they keep on worrying me. If they are warnings, don't show it to me. And maybe I've got my dependencies. I can start my Phoenix server now. I've installed a bit of dependencies. And what was our objective? Initial objective is to set up an API for /API/version. Let this guy continue. So, yep. So let me go to my editor. Now you can see the directory structure of the Phoenix or Elixir application. We have a config. You can have general configuration in EXS. EXS is an Elixir executable, while an Elixir module has an extension of .ex. So we have a config directory. We have separate config for dev and prod and your secrets and even test. Deps is where your dependencies will be stored. Priv is again for your static files. Since we have created a Phoenix application which does not include frontend, I'm going to, priv is not really important. Test is where all your tests will be located. And your mix.exs, which is your project definition. Let me open my lib. So Phoenix will create two different directories. One will be your WSS module and your WSS web. So you can see it has controllers and views. It has endpoint and a main file router. So I need to define my routes. Let me define my routes. So Phoenix has a concept of pipeline where you can put in different plugs are just modules which you can write. You can write your own plugs. So I can write my plug which says, I can write my own authentication, which will be a plug. And I can put in my API pipeline. So this might, if you have not done all this, it might get a bit confusing, but I think if you just understand the concepts behind it, the code, then it's just about the syntax and you will get to know that soon. So I scope is /API and pipe through this pipeline, right? Now inside my scope, I can say get, which means I'm only going to accept get requests and not post requests. I'm going to say version, which means the URL will be /API since there's an outside scope, and I can define scopes inside scopes. Okay, so that's something awesome. And you can define plugs for each scope. So you can fine tune your router. You have full control over your router through the use of pipelines and scopes and plugs. Remember these things. Using plugs, scopes, and pipelines, you can fine tune your router extensively. So I'm going to say get/version. I'm going to use my default home controller. So the syntax is get, the path, the controller, and the function. So I'm going to say the function name is going to be version. I hope that's not a conflict. No, I don't think that will create a conflict. So if I hit on my browser or to curl, if I hit /API/version, it will look up this module and it will call this function. Pretty simple, right? That's pretty simple to understand. I can also change this to post, so it will only accept post requests. And let me open home controller. I don't believe this file exists. Let me go to controllers. Oh, it does not exist. Oh, because I specified no HTML, so it did not create it. I think I'll have to create this. Not a problem. I'll create home underscore controller.ex, and I need to, so I'm going to define this module. ODULE module. It will be WSS web, because this is my base web module dot home controller. Yep. So if you saw, I specified only home controller because it's already in the scope of WSS web, right? So this makes it easy. This is my module name, do end. So that's my define my module. I need to look up some code because I keep on forgetting how module controllers are defined. Let me just check. Home controller. All right, I'm gonna copy paste. It's just 4 lines of code. Yep. So I'm saying I have a controller and inherit use. Okay, not inherit. Sorry, it's not. This Elixir is not an object-oriented language. There's no inheritance. It says use the functions from WSS web. Use the controller functions available. And def. I'm going to say version, right? Because this is the function I need to call when the version is called. And I'm going to return JSON data. If I had specified HTML, this would look inside WSS web templates directory, which is not created because I said no HTML. But if I had specified index.html, it would look for a file index.html.ex inside directory WSS underscore web templates. So I don't need HTML. I'm creating a simple microservice, and I'm just going to return data v1. Now, will this work? We can try. So let's go to, I've made changes. Let me recompile. So it's saying it's compiling 2 files, no errors. And I'm going to do a curl. Oh, where's the font? Okay, I think this, what happened over here? Where was my, oh, what happened to my Vue.js application? Oh, yep. Oh, so this is done. That's nice. We'll get to it later. I've done the npm install. I've saved some time. Multitasking. Cool. So let me do a curl. It's curl http:// Phoenix is listing on port 4000. This is going to give an error. API/version is going to give an error. And what is the error? Oh man, this is something difficult to read, but let's try. So what is it saying? Undefined error function home view is not defined, right? So Phoenix is a MVC framework. So you define your models, you define your controllers, and you need to define your views. So I need a module called WSS web home view. So let me create that. Go back to my editor. I'm going to go to views, and I have some, Phoenix has given me some default error views. I'm going to create home underscore view. You need to follow these naming conventions. If your controller is home, you need to name your module home controller, and your view has to be called wsweb.homeview. You have to follow these naming conventions. And if you're using HTML, your templates need to be in the directory home. It's similar to most of the MVC frameworks, I think. So I'm going to create home underscore view.ex. And again, it's empty. So I will just copy paste some code. If I go to home view, again, it's just 6 lines. I'll just copy that and paste it in home view. Right. So what is this doing? So I now have my home view module. Again, I'm using WSS web, but you remember the controller, I had colon controller, which is importing the controller related functions. But in my Vue module, I'm importing the Vue related functions. And I need to define render. And this is something which is called argument destructuring. So this is available in Elixir. It's available in a lot of languages. I believe in Clojure and maybe in other languages. So instead of saying that my argument is just x and then going inside the function and saying x square brackets data, I can destructure my arguments directly because I know that what's being passed. Undo. Oops, undo is slow, man. Oh, so sorry. Yeah, because I know that the controller is going to call render with index.json. I will quickly show you my controller. Yeah, so you can see I'm calling render index.json and I'm passing a map data v1. In Elixir, this is a keyword list, but it ultimately boils down to a dictionary, a map. So if I go back to my view, so I've already destructured my arguments into, this is the keyword, this is a variable data. And then I'm going to return a JSON. This is a dictionary in Elixir, but Phoenix will send this as JSON automatically back to your browser. So I don't need to do JSON.encode. I think so. I'm not sure. I will check. But yeah, I don't think I need to do. I don't need to encode the string. This is a Elixir data structure, but it will be sent as JSON to the browser. Let's try status OK and data. So I'm gonna go back to my recompile, no errors. Let me try. Yeah, cool. So I think we took around 10 or 15 minutes to implement. So that was nice. We implemented an API call. So any questions at this moment? Any questions? Okay, so I think I'll continue. So in a sense, what we did is we implemented a simple API call. Now let's get to the interesting part. We'll implement WebSocket client, so our Vue application can connect to it. I've already installed WebSockets. WebSockets is what gives me my WebSocket client. I said we'll connect to the Binance API. Let's quickly go to the Binance documentation site. As I mentioned, Binance is one of the most famous cryptocurrencies exchange. The reason I've chosen Binance is because cryptocurrencies are traded 24/7. So I'm not going to wait for any market to be open. Trading in cryptocurrencies is 24/7. So I know I'm going to get data. That's the reason I chose Binance. And if I search Binance API WebSocket, all right, so I've already implemented that, but the idea is it's very simple. So let's see. I've already written a module, Binance.ws, which is the module which connects to the Binance API. So WebSockets will be the WebSocket client. So I need to create. I'm going to not use web anymore. I'm going to go to my WSS application. Actually, I'm not going to use WSS because the Binance API, I'll probably need Binance in some other projects. So I'm not going to, ideally I should be creating Binance as a separate module. But for now, I'll just create a new directory in lib. Oh, sorry. Oops. No, Yeah, it's I sometimes Emacs gives me problems. I'm so sorry about that. But I'm going to create WSS Binance, right? Oh, I'm so sorry. Uh, it should be WSS Binance, lib Binance. So I don't want it to be linked to my WSS. I just want lib. So I have lib Binance. Inside lib Binance, I'll put ws.ex. So Binance.ws will be my WebSocket client, which connects to the Binance WebSocket API. That's quite a mouthful. I hope I was clear about that. So I have Binance, and I'm going to create a file called ws.ex. I'm going to open it. So this is def module. This is how you define modules in Elixir. So Binance.ws, which is my WebSocket client. And I'm going to copy code again because I can't type all that over again. Let me see what's there in Binance WS. Oh man, where is it? Yes, sorry. So unfortunately, uh, this part is going to be a little difficult to explain in the amount of time we have, because this needs you to have knowledge about gen servers in Elixir. Elixir is a functional language. If you when you start using it, it will handicap you because it does not support global variables. It's immutable. Be wary about that. It's You cannot modify variables. You need to do data transformation pipelines on all your data structures, which is good. And if you need to maintain state, you need to create something called as gen servers. And that is the way you can actually, even a simple counter application where you increment a counter variable, a simple application like that will need you to create a gen server. And but once you understand gen servers, you can abstract it away. All right. So you just need to understand, once you abstract it away, you'll get pretty quick with Elixir. So let me copy some code. It's pretty huge, but I hope I'll be able to walk you through it. I'm not going to require logger. What happened to my, okay. So obviously I need to use WebSockets, which is my WebSocket client. And since WebSockets is a gen server, I need to use startlink. I need to define startlink. Startlink will start my uh, WebSocket client and connect to this URL. If you read the Binance documentation, the URL to connect is WSS, which is, I believe, secure WebSockets. And this is the URL, this is the port, and this is the path you need to connect. This will connect you. You can find this on the Binance documentation website. So I already know the URL. I'm going to call WebSockets.startLink. This is the function which I have defined. After I connect to the Binance API, I need to subscribe to some symbols, right? So by default, I've subscribed to, I'm not going to go very deep into the Binance API, but the way is you need to send a message, which is a JSON string. You can see I'm using JSON.encode. I'm encoding my Elixir data structure. So the idea is I need to tell Binance that I'm subscribing, the method, I'm subscribing to these two financial instruments. And client is your OHLCs, open your candlestick data. I'm not sure exactly what client means, but it basically gives you your OHLC data every 5 minutes. This is the period which I want my ticker data, stock ticker data. And for now, I'm just asking for two instruments, ETH BTC and Bitcoin USDT. And it needs an ID. I'm just going to specify a random ID, enum.random. Enum.random will pick a random integer from 10,000 to 66. That's an interesting number choice I have. Oops, sorry. And I'm going to do send message. Again, send message is what I've defined, which is I'm going to call WebSockets.sendFrame client, and I'm going to send it as a text, and I'm going to send message. Message is again subscribe message, right? So I hope this is quite a mouthful, but it's if you look at it, there's not a lot happening. I'll show you on the REPL, so you'll be clear about it. I'm going to do start link. I'm going to wrap subscribe symbols. That's all. Subscribe symbol will do a send message. Send message will send a frame, and this is my callback handle frame. And I'm going to do io.inspect. So when the data comes in from Binance, I'm going to print it on my REPL. I'm going to inspect it, io.inspect. I'm going to comment this for now. Oops. Oh man, I'm screwing up my Emacs. I'm so sorry about that. I just changed my editors. I'm constantly doing stuff with Emacs. So I'm just going to inspect the data which Binance sends me. Let's do this. Let's go to my REPL. First thing is let me compile to make sure. Awesome, yeah. So there's no error, no syntax error. And I'm going to do Binance.ws. You can see there are tab completion is available, so I can do start link. Start link takes state. I don't care about my state. I just want to connect to my URL, so I'll just pass anything over here. It can be any number. What does it return? It returns a tuple of an atom which says everything is okay, colon okay, and a PID. Now this PID is what I need to send messages back to my Gen server, WebSockets. So I need to actually save this. So I can do this PID. So you can see how I'm destructuring the return of, this is what Elixir can give you. I could do this, right? I could do this, right? But I know what I'm getting back. So I can already destructure the return value and say, give me PID directly. Instead of saying S and then going to S PID, I don't want to do this. So I can directly say colon OK PID, right? I'm destructuring the return value of start link. And if I see PID is a process ID. You can use the process module to, is it alive PID? It says true. I can also kill processes. I can link processes. I can hibernate processes. I can spawn processes. Elixir is concurrent. I can monitor processes. Look at and there's help for everything. Process.alive tells whether the given process is alive on the local node. I can put process.info. So I can do process. In Elixir, everything is a process. Elixir has lightweight processes. These are processes inside Elixir and not operating system processes. I'm so sorry. So let me do PID. Awesome. So it's giving me so much information about my process, giving me a heap size. Oh man, this is crazy, right? So let me do the next stage, which is I'm going to subscribe to symbols. I'm going to say Binance.ws.subscribe symbols. And what does subscribe symbol takes? The client. This is important. The client is the PID which start link returned, which I have saved, because this is what in the end WebSockets needs to send the frame to. So I'm going to use PID. That's it. I'm getting data from Binance, JSON data. So I've created a WebSocket client and I'm receiving data in handle frame. I'm just printing it to the REPL. Since the Binance WebSocket API is open, it's rate limited. So the data is not going to be very fast. But if time permits, I'm going to create my own WebSocket server and we're going to push data every 10 milliseconds or something like that. And I'm going to crash your Firefox browsers. I hope I can do that. Now, since we have data coming in here, there's also genserver.stop. If I want to stop my WebSocket clients, cool. So I've stopped my connection to the Binance WebSocket API. So we have succeeded in connecting to the WebSocket Yes, WebSocket endpoint of Binance. All right. Now the next step is to create a Phoenix channel. So what are Phoenix channels? Phoenix channels are a lightweight abstraction over WebSockets. So Phoenix channels can use an underlying, I believe by default, Phoenix channels uses WebSockets, and they can also use some other technologies. I'm not sure about that. But by default, a Phoenix channel uh, is an abstraction. So it allows you to select topics and messages. So it allows you to, I would say, multiplex multiple topics over a single WebSocket connection. So you can just have a single connection from your browser to the server. If you think of a chat room analogy, each chat room name would be the topic, and each message would be going to a particular topic. So it's Phoenix handles WebSocket connections using channels, and each channel has a topic and a message. So it's pretty simple. So let's create a channel quickly. Again, I need to create new files. So let me go to my web. I can see I already have channels. I have a user socket, right? I'm going to create a channel called instrument, because I need the latest LTP, latest trading price of my instrument underscore info, and the star. The star means obviously any text after that. But this entire string is the name of the topic, and star will actually be the trading symbol. So if I do this, which means this is the name of my topic, and I can also do the other, I can put in other symbols as well. So when I do star, I'm telling Phoenix to send all messages with the topic of instrument underscore info colon trading symbol to my instrument channel. I'm going to create an instrument channel. And again, the code is going to be very small. So the way to start with Phoenix channels is there's a lot more going on. So I can even show you how to configure endpoints. So this is a Phoenix endpoint. You can create your source. This is a slash socket by default. You can, so if you don't want slash socket, you can change it over here in endpoint.ex. This is how the live Phoenix dashboard works. Phoenix supports static. Phoenix can also serve static files. So this is where you define your static directories. So it does not go through the server. It's served directly to the browser. It also serves hot code reloading and lots of stuff. It even supports telemetry out of the box. Phoenix is a full-fledged framework, but it does not get in your way. Where was I? Yeah. So that's all I need to do to define. So I can define multiple channels, right? I can say instrument info and many more. So let me just do instrument info for now. And I need to create, what do I need? Instrument underscore channel. Yes. I'm going to create instrument channel.ex. So this is my instrument channel, which is def module wss web dot instrument channel do end. And I'm going to copy some code again. Oops, this is, oh man, vi. Let me copy some code from my instrument channel. I have it here. Again, there's not a lot of code. So we can actually ignore this. So what I'm doing is, since I only am interested in sending data, so I'm only, when the web browser connects, again, you can see this structure. This is again argument destructuring. In Elixir, less than greater sign is your string concatenation operator. So, you know, I could have done this. I could have done topic, right? But then I need to split on colon once inside. I need to split on colon, make sure the first, after I split, the first element of the array is instrument info, the second element of the array is a trading symbol. But using argument destructuring inside the function definition, I can ensure that the arguments are correct. If it does not match, this particular function won't be called. I'm going to ignore the message because I only want, and once a client joins, I'm going to print it to the REPL. I'm going to print the trading symbol. And terminate is again I just want information when the client terminates. Now we need to quickly move to our, let me just compile this to make sure we're all right. Oh, US user socket. Oops. Oh, I need a comma here. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I think so. Recompile. All right, so I've created an instrument channel. Now I need someone to connect to the channel. And that is where we'll move to the Vue.js application. So this is going to be a session, which is awesome. So now let's go to my, I already have my Vue running. I'll do npm run serve. So I have Vue running on port 8080. Let me close all this. I don't need this. So 8080 will be my Vue application. All right, so I have my Vue.js up and running. And I'm going to, I'm not sure how many of you know Vue.js, but if you do, then that's you're lucky. It's very simple. If not, I hope what I show you today will get you interested in Vue. It's an awesome web framework. Front-end framework. Let me go to my browser, and I'm now going to open my front-end stuff. This is full stack development. You need to constantly shift between backend and front-end, and I love it. I love full stack development. So I go into src. Okay, let me open package.json just to make sure we are into a Vue application. You can see all the stuff which Vue has done. So it has dependencies of Vue version 2, right? And I'm going to go into my source and open app.vue, which is my starting application. What does app.vue have? It has all this stuff. And again, Vue will auto reload the browser. I'm going to delete all this stuff. What will happen? Oh man. Okay, I need to delete this, Yeah, no errors. I think that's good. I've just opened my developer tools to make sure. Awesome. So an empty Vue application. I love this. And I'm going to create a component called, so the design of Vue, design of front-end frameworks starts with the concept of components, right? Similar to React. So in Vue also we have components, and similar to React, a Vue component can have HTML, which comes inside the template tags, JavaScript, which is plain JavaScript. I think one of the reasons I personally wanted to like Vue is because there's no JSX. JSX to me, although simple, meant I had to have an mental, overhead of learning a new syntax. I didn't really want that, and thankfully Vue is just JavaScript, and of course it supports your ES6 and further on. So, and yeah, I do store on /z. I'll explain why later. It's interesting. And you can store your styles also in your Vue components. And another good thing about styles is lang. There's some keyword, I think, scoped or something. I'm not sure. But if you do this, your CSS will be locally scoped to only this particular Vue component. If you don't do scoped and you style your h1 tag, this will affect the h1 tags on the entire page. But if you scope it locally, h1 will only be applied to this particular HTML over here. So you can have local CSS. I believe React might be having that. I'm not entirely sure. So I don't need any styling. I'm not a CSS guy. I'm going to remove this stuff. I just want to say I'm going to create a new component called instrument list. It's going to be a simple table of two columns, trading symbol and LTP. So let me, we have an hello world view, which I'm going to create instrument list dot view. And unfortunately, or lucky for me, I'm going to copy code from WSC, yep. Instrument list. So instrument list is a bit big, but I hope I'll be able to explain it. So this component is a little big, but I'll quickly go through it. This is HTML. I'm just going to display instruments. This is my instruments table. And I have data over here. You can see. So I'm not really going to explain how Vue works, but it's pretty simple. I'm going to import a socket model from Phoenix, which gives me an abstraction over WebSockets. This is the important part. I'm not going to use WebSockets directly in my front-end application, which means I need to do npm install. Oh my, thankfully I remembered that, but I'll get to that. So I'm going to use a Phoenix npm module. Phoenix also gives us an npm module, so I can use the channels abstraction over WebSockets. So it's not going to be a core, the raw WebSocket. I have defined my trading symbols. I've hard-coded this for now just to make things easy. I'll probably put this in an API call later, but I've hard-coded this and I have a connect to channel method. What does this do? Okay, quickly, this $set will create keys for my instrument because I don't know in advance. Right now I do, but later on I'm going to have dynamic. I'm not sure what trading symbols I'm going to use. I've hard coded it for now, but later on I'm going to get the trading symbols from an API call. So at that moment, I don't know what my trading symbols are, so I cannot set the keys for my instrument. And that's the reason once I'm connected, I will loop over trading symbols and I will set keys. So you can read more about $set in Vue. I need to set keys to this instrument. Then I'm going to connect to my Phoenix channel, which is on port 4000. I'm going to connect socket. Then I create a channel. So I need to connect. What I'm essentially doing in this block is for each trading symbol, I'm creating a topic with the name of instrument info trading symbol. That is our channel topic, right? And this is the way to connect to the channel. Remember, socket.channel exists because this is a Phoenix channel. You won't find this in JavaScript WebSockets. So I'm just simply looping over my trading symbols, which are just two trading symbols for now. And I'm creating a channel with this particular topic, instrument info trading symbol. I'm joining it, and these are the error and OK callbacks. And on new LTP, I'm going to get a payload. I'm going to log it so we'll be able to see what the payload is. Let's do that. Let's see the payload. So I'll comment this for now. Let's just inspect the payload. And I'm not sure why my syntax coloring is off. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's cool. I can live without syntax coloring. So I think this is, I just need to do npm install Phoenix. and I think it did it. So, right. So we have a Phoenix NPM module, which gives us a Phoenix channel on the front end. And I'm going to do npm run serve and start my Vue application. And I can go back to my code. No, let me go. Yeah, sorry. Let me go back to my code. So I have an instrument list component. I hope this works. It should. On mounted, so ignore this commented part. I'm telling Vue that when this component is mounted, connect to my Phoenix channel. And this is my connect to channel method, which I already explained. I'm just grouping all the trading symbols and I'm joining the particular channel with a topic name. So I think I'm happy with this code, but you never know. So what I'm going to do in app.vue is I'm going to import instrument list. What's the syntax? From slash components instrument list. What's from instrument list dot view. Yeah, and I need to register my component. Oh man, I'm okay. Let's see if this compiles. Did I get an error? Yes. Okay. What is it saying? Instrument list has been not used. Oh, it's an error or a warning? What? Okay, I'll use it. Never mind. I'm gonna use it anyways, so I'll do instrument list. Is it? Yeah, let me use the module. Error in instrument list dot view. So let me go to instrument list view. What was the error it said? Oh, I need to have keys. Can I ignore that? Mixed spaces and tabs. Oh, I think this is ESLint. I'm going to ignore it, man. Oh no, it's the same thing. Hold on. Okay, let me just check my. Why is it saying this? Any idea how to remove ESLint? I think that's causing the problem. ESLint disable. Where do I put that? Okay, I can try it. If not, I'll need to initialize my Vue application again. Oh man. Oh, this guy is still picking ESLint. I need to disable this guy. Aha. Okay. I will, unfortunately, let me copy, let me back up my files. Okay, what I just created. I'll do one thing. I'll quickly create a new Vue application and I'll not use ESLint. I really hate that ESLint guy. I think I only created 2 files, instrument list. That's it. Yeah, I think not a lot changed. I've backed up my files. I think it's app.vue. I did instrument list view. Oops, this got saved. So I've backed up app.vue and instrument list.vue. I think I should be okay. And God help me, I'm going to delete my Vue application. Vue create, does it take arguments? Okay, let me try WSC, my client. Manually select features. Yeah, this is what oops, I think I selected it. No ESLint. Oh. Yeah. Manually select features. I'm going to disable linting. Awesome. Thank you. So I'm just going to have Babel, no TypeScript, dedicated config files, no. I'm just going to do an npm install. All right, my Phoenix server is happy. There's nothing happening there, so it's quiet, but it will be serving data to my front end soon. npm fund. Okay, that's nice. 42 packages are looking for funding. I'm going to go to my application. I'm going to copy my app.vue into Sarsi and my instrument list.vue into Sarsi components. With the npm run serve. Oh, sorry, npm install Phoenix. Why is error so scary? Why doesn't it just say? Oh man, anyway, let me install Phoenix. Oh, thank you, no ESLint, and thank you, Vue, for giving me an option not to enable ESLint. Thank you. But I hope I get this right. So we've got our application. It's a very simple table. I'm not going to do any CSS. It's a simple table of 2 columns, the trading symbol and the last traded price. Now I'm going to push this. Let me show you the messages which I was printing when we successfully connected to the channel. So if I reload this page, you can see it connected to user socket. It joined topic. Since I have 2 symbols, it joined this topic and it joined this topic. And if I go to my developer console, I'm also logging on. Okay, so you can ignore these errors. I know why they're happening, but I'm going to ignore them. So it's going to say join successfully also. So both my client and my Phoenix server say that each party has joined the channel successfully. And remember, a quick talk about WebSockets. WebSockets is built on top of HTTP, I believe, but it uses TCP/IP. So I don't really know the inner workings, but WebSockets gives you the ability to use bidirectional sockets between nodes. And again, there's no concept of a client server. Remember, client is just the one who initiates the connection, but it's peer-to-peer communication, which means the server can send data to the client without waiting for the client to send request any information. So there's no long polling on the client side. The client just has a TCP/IP connection open to the web via WebSockets, and the server sends data to the WebSocket. And in my Vue application, I have a callback. So that's when I can do things when I get data from the WebSocket server. And for now, I'm only sorry. What am I doing when I get a message? Remember, a channel has a topic and a message. So on that particular topic, if I get a message, and one more thing, a message has a payload. So I'm sorry, there are three things to a channel. There's a topic, there's a message, and the payload. Payload is the data related for that message. So when I get a message, new LTP, this is my payload, which is the data, and I'm going to just log it. So let's see. Let's try this out. I have my connected. I'm going to go to my IEX console now, my REPL, Elixir REPL. Now here's how you can send data to your channels, Phoenix channels. You need to use broadcast. So I need to say WSS web dot end. I think I've forgotten my, yeah. Let me just check. Right. So I need to use my endpoint module, and WSS web.endpoint gives me a broadcast function, and the parameters are the channel, topic, the message, and the payload. So this is the topic. So I'm going to send a message to ETH PTC. I'll try to show you both. Let me see. So hopefully you're able to see the terminal and the console over here. Of course, I'm going to print it on the screen, on the browser screen anyway, but I think this will help you see the console.log payload. Yeah, so you saw this. I got the browser received the LTP, and so it's pretty simple. I need to use this function. So what does this tell me? Let's go to my Emacs. Let's go to the editor quickly, and I think now it's going to be simple. Oh, I need to go to Binance. I'm so sorry. SPW. Yeah, this is my Binance module. And this is the one you remember if I commented earlier. And this is now going to send data to the client. You can see what I'm doing. I can comment this, but let me print out the messages coming from Binance, and I'm just doing a sanity check. If the data coming from Binance has a key S, which is the trading symbol, I'm going to use WSS web.endpoint broadcast. And this is a variable interpolation in Elixir. I get my data from Binance. I use broadcast. This is a channel topic. This is the message. And this is the LTP. So if I let me do this connect start link. I've connected to my Binance WebSocket server. Let me subscribe. So you see the data coming in from Binance. I'll quickly stop the server. Yeah. So this is the data coming from Binance. So that is the reason I check for S. If S exists, I know that the client, the K, contains my data. And C is the closing price. This is the last traded price of the symbol. So I've inspected my data structure, and that's the reason in my code, my LTP is client KC. It's pretty simple. It's just a JSON data structure which Binance has sent. So when I get data from Binance, I'm going to broadcast it, and this is going to send it to my front end. Let's do this. Recompile, works great. npm run server is on, and okay, but I've not automated the initiation part, so I need to do that manually. So I need to do start link manually. Oh my god, I killed my entire IX, so sorry. So I can just do start link, and I can do subscribe symbols, and oh, nothing's happening. Maybe reload. Oh, it's commented. Let me just stop this guy. I need to go to my front end code. Yeah, so I'm just logging it. I'll comment this. And as I mentioned, my data, my component data has two keys or properties. Oh, sorry, props. I cannot say props because Vue also supports props. Vue supports props. So I'm not going to call it properties, but this is my data. My data and my component has trading symbols and instrument. So, and the instrument will have a key, which is the trading symbol. The trading symbol will have a key, which is LTP, and the value will be the actual price. So you can see this simple data structure. Payload.ltp is getting assigned to instrument trading symbol LTP. All right. And this guy has stopped, so I'll subscribe again. Oh, I need to start link. I need to subscribe. And in my browser, yeah. Is that cool? So
Looks good.
yeah. So we have successfully, if I see what I wanted to do is understand Phoenix channels. We connected to the Binance WebSockets server API. We set up a Vue.js application. We created a socket on the front end, a Phoenix socket actually, to be honest, and we connected it to the backend WebSocket of Phoenix. So I wish I could have drawn a diagram over here, but the data, what's happening is we are pulling data from Binance and we are broadcasting it to all the clients who are connected to our Phoenix website to port 4000.